Hi, this is Matt Compton. I formerly was the commercial operations director for Jushi, covering mainly merchandising over Illinois, Ohio, and Massachusetts, and was laid off due to some corporate realignment June 1st. So I'm actively looking for another senior level role or even a contract, a temporary role, but really wanting to stay in the industry if at all possible.
Absolutely. So when you talk a little bit about a lot of times when you're in the cannabis space, terms are used differently. My history is in the alcohol space. Got into the hemp space a couple years ago with the Farm Bill. Talk about what it is you did prior and how you kind of went to market, the merchandising, and kind of what your strategy was prior.
Yeah. So when I was with Jushi, a lot of what I did was the promotional strategy, and also the higher level buying strategy. So we utilize tools like Hoodie and Pistol, so data analyst models, to really look at what the market's doing. And then we would also dig into our own tools via Dutchie and Power BI to dig into what our sales were doing across our stores. We were really data focused. So we really used that data to try to justify every SKU that we would bring into a store. And then promotion wise, it was all about trying to drive customer traffic while at the same time maintaining a tight margin, as all cannabis companies and MSOs try to do.
Now walk through for anybody that doesn't know what is it, Jushi or Jushi? Just so I make sure.
Juicy.
Jushi. All right. So that everybody knows, so that we can start with there, and then I'll go back even deeper to your history. But what is it that they do, and it's a brand, but also a retail experience as well?
So yeah, they are a cannabis company. They have both dispensary and grower processing in several states: Virginia, Massachusetts, Ohio, Illinois, Pennsylvania, California, and Nevada, I believe.
Okay.
I think I left you off. But grower processing in all of those states except Illinois, and then dispensaries in all of the states that I listed. Dispensary is beyond hello, so very focused on all aspects of the cannabis side of things.
So were your responsibilities on the retail experience, or the package experience at other retailers across those markets, or was it a combo of the two?
I was largely in charge of the retail experience at our Beyond Hello stores, largely in charge of
Beyond Hello's. Okay.
doing the promotional activity, that sort of thing.
All right. Well, let me ask you this then. You're the first one that has experience in the retail, interior retail side of the dispensary world. Talk to me about what it is to merchandise in there, and what are the objectives. In a liquor store, we know what are the hot points, what are the ideals, what's optimal spacing, placements, etc. It's a little different in dispensaries. Obviously, we're not looking at pallet drop displays, and we're not looking at massive wall type things. What's the strategy for marketing and promoting products in a minimalistic retail environment?
It's a good question, and it can be extraordinarily tricky due to the just the legal complications of the side. Like for Illinois, for instance, and I think in a lot of states you can't have products on the floor, so that like you said, that limits that completely. So what my experience is working really closely with our brand partners to have them come in, and they would usually provide the merchandise that we would display. Be it a lot of times at some of our stores, it would just be signs, because we literally would have no shelf space available. So it would just be their signs on walls and things like that. Other times they would come in and actively work with us to set up our displays in some of the stores. And then in the stores that we're selling our own product, obviously we want our shelf space to really be highlighting the Jushi experience. So in those stores, we would largely focus on our internal products and making them work, with small amounts of brands that really drive sales in parts that we did not have. for instance, drinks. Jushi did not have drinks. So that would be an opportunity for us to partner with a drink partner to probably fill some of that brand space.
And I'll go to back to you on an individual basis. Like I had a pretty jarring layoff in 2017 from a project I was working on, from the same thing, corporate realignment. I think it was ended up being 20-30% of the entire employment, labor force and everything like that in various departments. What has been the biggest lesson you've taken from this? And then I'll ask another question, but what's the lesson from this so far? And not that anything's your fault in layoffs. I want to be very clear as far as like, it's not your responsibility. Yeah.
I think it's, unfortunately times have changed. And so you have to always have a game plan for if it happens, because this was my first layoff. I'm 45 years old, and it was the first time. I was not expecting it, foolishly. I mean, I had seen it happen with several of my colleagues, and when you get to especially corporate cannabis, it's a business. And so, business decisions are made, and it's not, a lot of times, doesn't have anything to do with how talented you are, unfortunately. And so, yeah, that was my biggest takeaway, is just make sure you always have a game plan, ready. Good to have a backup resume, keep yourself networked. Yeah, just have that backup plan ready, because unfortunately you never know when it could happen.
I think it's important. I think it's an important lesson, and I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of times, and I was the same way. It hit me, and honestly, I've said this before. It put me into like a 6-month depression, and a good bit of that was bedridden, and I mean bedridden. And I had 2 small kids, and I don't mean to take you back as much to those initial days or anything like that, as much as I want people to have a 2-pronged approach to this. I want them to see you as a valuable asset, because I've done my research on you, unlike a lot of other people where I come in blind. I didn't do that with this. I wanted to take this with care, and I want to be honest with my audience that I'm taking this interview with care, because I want your story to be a platform for somebody to be of interest in this. At the same time, I want this to be a story of agency, and showing people what you just said, which is that number one lesson, to know that when you are in a big company, as much as that brings comfort to some people to be in a large organization, I'm sorry, but we will always be a number to a large organization. Sometimes even in a small organization, we're just a number. And I want, as much as I can help anybody to not hit the certain states I hit, and I don't know where you are with it, but it delayed a lot of pieces of my life at a very pivotal time. And as being a new father and all those things, I don't blame it in the sense of like some sort of resentment, but I do wish I handled it differently, in the agency of myself, in doing something. And I'm admiring you, because you're doing this right now, and that's what I want publicly to be said. You have more guts and balls than I did. I hid in a corner for 6 months in shame. You fucking said, I'm going on a podcast and I'm putting myself out there, and dude, I fucking love it. And I don't even know you, and I'm so fucking proud of you.
I appreciate that a lot. I really do. It means a lot, because yeah, it's tough. I got 3 teenage daughters, 19, 17, and 15-year-old, and they all got stuff that they, not only want but need. So finding a job, or at least some sort of income, is high priority right now, to make sure that they don't go without.
Absolutely. So let's go with that right now. Let's go with this right now. Right now, specifically, obviously the easiest transferable job, if anybody's looking to hire right now in the cannabis industry, or even are you open to other industries of similar things? Because you have very transferable skills to other industries in the same. Yeah.
If I can't find a cannabis job, I would be. I really do want to stay in cannabis, because it saved my life. It brought me out of a 7-year disability and let me get back to work. So if I can stay in the industry, that would be my ultimate goal. As far as like transferable skills, I think obviously, being in charge of like a multi-state buying organization would probably be the easiest, just do what I've already done. But with that being said, I love challenges. So I really do think I'd also be good at taking over and running like a wholesale team as well. Um, just because I've got that 7 years of buying experience. So I know what the customer wants. And I've done some sales earlier in my career. And with cannabis selling, it's just kind of natural. I had worked with our wholesale teams arm in arm for years, just with partnerships. We'd have big meetings and I'd try to help sell our product. They'd try to help sell theirs. So I think that would also be a really good role for me. Plus, it would also help me really build up that resume for my next step, which I would ultimately love to be like a VP of, commercial operations. So getting some of that wholesale experience under my belt would also be valuable, I think.
I agree. And in the meantime, I'll tell you that honestly, like what you're doing, there's a lot of brands that if they're smart enough to spend the right money on it, what you're talking about is what I do as a business since '08, in reverse. So I work with a portfolio of brands, helping them get into retail, merchandise into retail, increase their rate of sale, work alongside their distributors to help that accelerate that entire market development. So just a food for thought. I don't know where you are with benefits and all that stuff, but if you have the opportunity to go and try something out without benefits and just with the cash part, I strongly suggest with your experience considering that as well. But again, I understand with benefits and kids, if that's not an option, then definitely I hope this episode gets that going for you. Go back to me with your passion for the industry. You said about the disability and stuff like that. Talk to me about this is more than just a paycheck for you to stay in this industry. So talk about what it means to you as far as an industry goes.
Yeah, so I suffered a traumatic brain injury and had to go on permanent total disability back in 2010, and was on that until Illinois passed their medical cannabis law, and I thought I'd give that a try. And it actually worked so well that I was able to get off of opiates. And then I was hired part time by Sarah Whitmire, who I just love, formerly with Trinity, now with Good Day Farms. She gave me a chance and hired me as a part-time bud tender, and then saw something in me to give me a chance at buying the ancillary products. And then from there moved me up pretty quickly to buying their cannabis products. And then when we transitioned to 2 stores, when adult use came, I became their director of purchasing. And then about a year and a half later, I was recruited to Jushi by Rob Jones, who I also love, as the inventory manager, but essentially I was the buyer for their 4 stores in Illinois, and just really took off there relatively quickly, then promoted to senior manager, where I was overseeing the buying of Illinois, Ohio, and Massachusetts. And then about a year and a half after that, promoted to director, where I was also then pretty much in charge of all of the promotions and had more of a role in our wholesale relationships. Things like that.
No, that's awesome. That's we're kindred spirits in the most depressing way. Is actually I got into the hemp beverages from a passion standpoint, not just because of the business model, but because it helped. I tried 4 or 5 times to quit opioids and alcohol, and working in the alcohol industry, it was tough. My nickname and the platform I built was called the Beer Ace, and you go out to a bar and everybody knows you, and in your certain market, and you buy them a beer and you buy them a beer and they buy you a beer and all this other stuff. So I have the same passion, and a lot of people think I'm crazy for staying in this with the impending hemp ban coming and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm still going hard, and they're like, you're fucking nuts. And I'm like, yeah, I am. But also, it saved my life, and I have no problem telling people, yeah, I did the work to get sober, but I was suicidal. I had suicidal tendencies, and I couldn't quit, and I couldn't figure out how to do it, and it felt like a chain and an oppressed situation, and it was debilitating, physically, mentally, and all of the above. And a lot of people think being an alcoholic's fun and addicted to pills is fun because you get to check out. But actually, guess what? You do get to check out, and the world just keeps going.
Yeah.
And when you finally get your head out of your ass and you get sober, or you figure out the right path to that, The clarity brings a lot of lessons, and I appreciate your honesty about what was going on, and also to let more people know that while this product and these products in this greater industry, they're fun, but they also serve a life-saving tool. They're a life-saving tool for a lot of people that we don't talk about enough because that's not cool. You know, it's not cool to talk about sobriety and this. It's not cool to talk about suicide. It's not cool to talk about it, but it's true. And it's the reality of where we are in the today's world as a society, let alone not having the proper tools and now having to fight to access those tools in proper areas.
Could not agree with you more. I have personally also used the beverages to help with alcohol use. I'm no longer drinking all like you with the beverages. It just not even just at home, but especially I think socially when you got those available, it makes it so much easier for people that used to drink or even want to drink still, but shouldn't to have that available and on the market. I really do hope that something gets done about that because I do see those is absolutely critical to so many people.
Yeah, and we have audience members that are in all aspects of beverage. So there's some that are in the alcohol, wine, whatever they want to say. And some people would say to me, "Oh, you just took one vice and inserted the other." Well, for me personally, and it sounds like the same for you, it's not a 5 p.m. thing for me. In actuality of hemp beverages, I don't really drink that much on a routine basis because I'm a big ritual. I carry, rituals scare me. They always have, and I never considered rituals as like a beverage thing. But once I got into that rhythm of 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, all that stuff, I realized how that ritual serves. So I'm the same way. Like in markets where I can consume them while out at bars and restaurants and breweries with friends, I will. But at home, it's not. It's something where it helped. It was in the first year. It was a crutch, and now it's a tool that I grab occasionally. You know what I mean? And it serves its purpose, and it's not repeating the vice. It's
Yeah.
not repeating the system. It's not repeating anything. That molecule does not affect me the same way the alcohol did.
100%. You don't wake up with the hangovers. You can function. It doesn't make you, at least for me. And like you said, everybody's different, but it did. I don't make bad decisions when I have one or two half beverages. When I was drinking, I definitely made one or two bad decisions on my time at work.
I won't be honest. You get me on a tear, you'll find me 3 or 4 days later with the alcohol, with the hemp. You're lucky to find that ever happening to a never. So let's talk. Let's come out of the dark stuff and come into the light stuff. What are some of the greatest joys you found in this industry and lessons you've learned over the time?
Easy. That's the people. I think just the cannabis community is amazing. I've gotten so much support since I was laid off. It's just been, quite honestly, probably the thing that with my family that's kept me out of the depression because just the overall support. I mean, obviously still looking for a job, but I truly believe that there are so many people out there trying to help me find a job. It just knowing that I've got that support is amazing. And that is the best part of the cannabis industry. It's just the people that are in it. I mean, obviously there's going to be some bad people, but that's every industry. But I've never seen a more supportive group of people than that are in the cannabis industry.
I'd fully agree with that. Yeah, it's one of those things. When I took my first year of sobriety, I left the alcohol industry completely. Did a completely different thing for a year and a half. But it was the people that drew me back, and I was like, I had to work for a year and a half to be like, okay, if I go back, it has to be strict rules, strict guidance for myself, and no drinking at all. Even like not even. There's 3 times where I took an eyedropper when I was working with a client and formulating, and I was like, I don't feel good approving this until I've actually tried it. And when I took that eyedropper, the hair stood up. I started sweating and all this stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, this is a problem that I had, and I think I have to step out of that service that I'm providing to this world.
Wow, definitely.
And it was part of the immersion therapy that I did. I went through a bunch of therapists, and the last therapist I had was a recovering alcoholic. He had 10 or 15 years of sobriety, and he literally goes, "You remind me of myself." He goes, "I'm going to tell you something that I may lose my license, and I'll never share his name publicly." And he's like, "I may lose my license for this, but I want you to go to a bar every time you feel like a craving, and I want you to order a beer. And then I want you to stare at that beer, and I want you to tell that beer in your head everything negative that that beer ever caused to you in your life. I did that 6 times. That was it. I never drank the beer, never chugged the beer, but 6 times going to the bar and reminiscing about not the good stuff, not the fun times, not the money, not the jobs, not the travel, the bad stuff. Because what I did was, he realized through my therapy, I glorified it so much that I was never going to stop drinking unless I villainized it temporarily to set a balanced expectation of reality of what it does to me. Because it's confusing to, like, when you're with other people. My girlfriend, she'll rarely ever drink more than a second drink ever. You know what I mean? And it's one of the, and I get jokingly jealous of those types of people where it's like, yeah, I'll have one or two, and then they will have one or two, whereas I'll be like, yeah, I'll have one or two, and 4 hours later you get me with $100 tab. You know what I mean? So
Exactly what you mean. Yes.
perfect. Well, hey, I wanna make sure, as we kind of close through and wind down a little bit, anything that you want to discuss or anything that you want out there, I want to give you kind of the last few minutes here to kind of get that out there, man.
First off, just again, a huge thank you to everybody that's helped me so far. I genuinely appreciate it. It's been heartwarming. And yeah, if you guys, if anybody knows of any opportunities, please let me know. Looking for obviously something permanent would be great, but I would also love just to have, a contract job too for a month or two would be wonderful, just to help pay some bills and buy me some time till I can find that perfect role. Um, yeah.
That's awesome, Matt. That's all you can ask, man. And I want everybody out there, Matt Compton, I'm going to remind everybody, never met, anything like that. We're complete strangers, but I saw your story and I wanted to give you a platform to put it out there. I hope that this can lead to something, or at least somebody can hear this and refer and tell somebody else. And even if you're listening and you don't have anything in your company, please share this episode. It's a simple click and a text message out. That's all it takes. And share it with people. If you like Matt's story, if you know somebody that's looking, share it. It doesn't cost anything to click the share button as far as the story goes. So
Very much appreciated. I appreciate the time and the opportunity.
awesome. Well, I'll close out here, Matt. I want to thank you, man. I want everybody else to remember there's no scripts, there's no agenda. Matt did not get prepped. Matt did not have any questions. Matt's got the cojones to come on here and tell his story in a situation where most people like myself have cowered into the closet and into the bedroom and turned off the lights. You got up here, you turned the lights on, and you went on a damn podcast. And I want everybody to know the passion I have for being proud to be able to share your story. So I want to tell everybody as well, that's what this is about. The show's called Ready to Drink. It's about drinks, it's about ROI, it's about business, but most importantly, it's about human connection. And it's about giving a shit about other people, because this world is beautifully destructive in every aspect of the way. The best of intentions can turn out with the worst results, with no malicious intent. And also on the other side, there's a lot of people with malicious intent. So I want to challenge everybody, as I do every single episode, 5 minutes of kindness to a stranger a week, 20 minutes of kindness to a stranger a month. Do it in practice. I do it every day. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because I care, because I've been in a situation like I shared on this episode with Matt, where I have been in a dark place, not wanting to be on this earth, not wanting to be able to go forward. And people stood up, people picked me up, people dusted me off and showed me who I was. And that's who I want to be, helping people like you, Matt, and everybody else to understand that even if you're not in a job and you're not being able to provide and do what you want to do, it doesn't devalue you. Your job is out there, and hopefully somebody's listening that's going to get it. So everybody else, while you're walking down the street, put your phone in your pocket, look at the strangers while they're walking down the street. Don't be creepy and stare at them or anything like that, but read the vibe, and then know if you can smile, you can wave, you can wink, you can nod, whatever. When you're at the gas station filling up your cup of coffee, look to the person next to you, ask them how they're doing, shut your mouth and listen to their story. Read the body language, know if you need to ask another question, if they want to continue talking. If not, you just said hi and you move on. 5 minutes, guys, 5 minutes, 20 minutes a month. You're going to help somebody in that every single month. I guarantee you're going to help one person. You're going to help one person a month. And then after a course of a year, that's 12. We have thousands of people that listen to this show. If everybody can do that, good God, how we can help, how many people we can help. So Matt, thank you for having the courage to come on. That is a testament to your personality, and it's a testament to how lucky anybody's going to be to hire somebody like you that has the courage and the cojones to do what you're doing. It's more than just 30 minutes on a podcast, man. And I know it, and I respect you for doing, man. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. You have a good rest of your day, buddy. You take care.